EDAS the 6th of April, 2003 and 2A-10 Thunderbolt strike aircraft soar in the skies of Iraq near Baghdad. Flight leader Lieutenant Colonel Raymond A. Donkey Strasburger and his wingman, Captain Greg A. Billy Boba Thornton, are on a reconnaissance mission in support of coalition forces on the ground. But the Warthogs cannot see any of the action. A sandstorm has rolled in underneath them and engulfed the entire region. The two aviators circle up above in search of breaks in the weather, but then there is an urgent transmission from the ground. That's not good news. Their friend, First Lieutenant John Cope-Bloker, tells the pilots that Task Force 2 to 69 are pinned down under heavy fire at Mutana Bridge near his position. The 1st Hammurabi Republican Guard Armored Division have T-72s firing across the Tigris River and shelling the Americans relentlessly. Americans are low on supplies and exhausted after many hours of battle. They counter hit back. If the Iraqis cross the bridge, it's over for us. We need help. Are you ready? Yeah. The two Warthogs flip over and dive straight into the heavy sandstorm. Visibility is way below any measure of safety. On the ground, Iraqi infantry comes out of hiding and opens fire on American troops. Cope ducks as bullets fill the air. Hey, Donk, we need you now. I mean right now. A Donk and A Billy Boba can hear the gunshots and explosions in the background of Kokia's transmission. Suddenly, the buildings of Baghdad emerge up ahead as the two flyers level out low over the city. What a lovely day. The Tigris River comes into view, and they follow it north, racing for the objective, buildings zipping by either side. On the ground, Cope pulls out his rifle and starts returning fire at the muzzle flashes ripping like lightning through the haze. He relays increasingly urgent radio transmissions without wasting a second. I confirm, no friendlies to the east of the bridge. A is fighting two battles at once. Donk and Billy Bob approach at breakneck speed. As they listen to the transmissions from the ground, the outline of the bridge starts to emerge. A break left. A Billy Bob pulls off Donka's side, giving his leader space as a target area appears up ahead. The bridge is now in clear view. Donk pulls on a stick and flies over, a wave of jet engine roar breaking over the battlefield. They're at S-planes. A Donk peers over his shoulder searching for target, but the ground vanishes into the storm before he can see a thing. He needs to mark the target, so Coke on the ground can confirm he's in the right position. I'm dropping a mark. He selects his rocket pods armed with smoke ammunition as he lines up once again with the river and the bridge. This time, the Iraqi anti-aircraft guns are waiting for him. 23mm anti-aircraft cannons roar to life, sending columns of tracers in huge arcs through the air. Shorter bursts. Got it. A burst of fire narrowly misses his jet, but Donk pushes on. He aims for the bridge's eastern base and pulls the trigger, but nothing happens. The rockets malfunction. Damn it! The bridge is coming up fast. He sees the muzzle flashes of tanks and silhouettes of vehicles as he flies fast and low over the target. Without smoke rockets or time to think, he presses flare release button and dumps a line of pyrotechnics across the riverbank. He pulls hard to the right, skimming just over the buildings as he escapes the flurry of anti-aircraft fire. We are getting AAA, and I DOC the tank. I request clearance when able. Even through the storm, Coke sees the flares far in the distance. He knows Donk is right on it. Donk, you are re-cleared to engage. Copy, cleared to engage. Donk turned back around, this time armed with real firepower. Iraqi AAA gunners frantically search the hazy skies for the source of the jet engine roar as the menacing figure of Donka's Thunderbolt appears in the distance. The poor visibility makes aiming the hand-crank guns extraordinarily difficult. Streams of tracers rise towards Donk and chase him across the sky, zipping by mere feet from his aircraft. But Donk is unfazed. He spots the enemy through the hail of lead, tanks and APCs firing across the river. He sees a BMP charging for the bridge. Donk fixes his reticle directly on the target and pulls the trigger. The terrifying signature groan of the GAU-8 menaces the battlefield, reducing the personnel carrier to scrap. Donk soars just over the enemy as he pulls the nose up and turns west towards Allied lines, followed by columns of anti-aircraft fire. I have tanks on the circle. Bob, Donka's dash suddenly erupts with warning lights. He thinks he has been hit. Donk flies away from the action as he diagnoses his aircraft, testing controls and checking his systems. The plane is flying normally, fuel isn't leaking, and the engines look healthy. The only thing he finds wrong is that the drop-compensated reticle has disappeared from his head-up display. He clears the master alarm and attempts to reboot the ballistics computer, but it's completely dead. Out of time, he clears his wingman to take his place. Billy Bob Doesna need to be told twice. A. De Mob 7, the 2 and hot from the south. A. He turns his A-10 down to the storm and lines himself up with the river. Battlefield becomes clearer amid the haze, and he lands the crosshairs on his first target. He sees AT-72 main battle tank. The enemy tank is slammed by a deluge of armor-piercing 30mm shells. Sparks fly, and, in moments, fire begins bellowing out of hatches. He soars above, escaping the enemy fire unscathed. I got that sucker. Yes, right on the west edge of the circle. Boss that Donk can't get the computer turned on, but he still has an old-school crosshair. His aim might be off, but there are problems below, and he can deliver 3,900 solutions per minute. He has got to try. Donk charges into the scene. Tracers rip past his canopy, and several targets come into view. He lands his old-school crosshairs above them and pulls the trigger. The cannon shudders into action with its terrifying clatter. 30mm rounds rip through the earth, and he rages past above, unsure if he's hit anything. Cleared hot. Billy Bob races south down the river, now on his second pass.